What's up guys, Modern Mods here, and today I want to be showing you guys a tutorial on an AutoZone air intake and as well on how to clean this K&N air intake when it's time. Typically I would say about every 6 months or so you really want to check and make sure this thing's clean. That's just my personal preference because I get a lot of dust and dirt up here in these country streets and regular streets all over the place. So yeah, you just really want to make sure you keep these things clean because that way you're going to get proper breathing and proper flow and all that good stuff, and you really actually can tell a major difference when you clean it up. But with that, let me show you guys my setup, show you what tools you're going to need to do this job, and all the other attachments you may need to get this AutoZone air intake in here. Okay, all right guys, enjoy. All right guys, so coming up to the engine bay here, we have our air intake. This is the K&N, I think it was about $54, 3.5 inch opening here. And I picked this up at AutoZone as well as this little adapter piece here. It's designed for your vacuum hoses to go through, but really I just needed a spacer. And so I just picked that one up. It was the only one they had in stock. You can actually just get like a nice little spacer. That way you can actually connect your air intake to it. So by that, what I'm saying is, for all my guys who are wanting to get an air intake on their 200 and are having troubles finding one or don't want to spend the $300 on the kit or whatever it may be, this is a very easy and cheap way to get a cold air intake in your car, and it actually does work. So what I had to do is only part you're not gonna get in this tutorial here is the air box removal, but it's very, very simple. You just take your top clips off, that way you have access to your old filter. Then inside the filter, you're gonna have screws located, I think about here or somewhere around this area. And once you get those out, you got a little like push pop right in there. If you guys can see that, zoom in a little bit if I can. Here we go, right in there, yep. And that's the little pop, so that's gonna give you a lot of resistance, but you just gotta pry up on it and it'll pop right out. And that way you have the full air cabin free. And down there is the actual inlet for the air, way down in there. And that's how you get some cold air from your actual front. I think you got some scoops up in here that go through, and somewhere in the wheel well too, like on this side of your quarter panel front fender area, you got some airflow there as well. So that does come up in there, and I did check to make sure, you know, I mean, here you can feel the heat of the engine, but down in here you actually feel no hot air. It's actually pretty cool. It's just like the outside temp. I can almost feel air blowing in there. So the reason I'm saying that is because a lot of air intakes do come with dividers, which I do recommend. The one reason I don't have one is just because I haven't made one yet, which I'd have to make one or just buy one that may somehow fit with my setup here. But other than that, I've had no issues with it, and it runs great, even better than the stock. But with that worry out the way, you're gonna get your air intake once you get your actual old housing out, and you're gonna put all this out, and you're gonna put in the spacer, and you're gonna put in the new air intake right on the spacer, just like that. You don't have to worry about anything else. I did not remove my mask for airflow or anything like that. Here's my actual tube, my vacuum tube. And then coming over here, you got your mass airflow sensor right there, and going down into your throttle body down in there. So no removals of any major parts that you're gonna need, you know, no codes, nothing is gonna be thrown from this. You're just gonna get a little more performance and a much louder rev. Much louder rev. Let me emphasize that because it's way louder. So I'll get into more of that when I'm actually putting it back together, which I will show you guys. But let me show you what tools you're gonna need here. So tools needed to actually do this job, at least from where I'm at right now, is just the 5/16. And that's obviously just to take off the hose clamps. And I'm gonna be using my K&N air filter cleaner. Let me line you up a little better. My K&N air filter cleaner there, which I did pick up from AutoZone. That's your oil and the cleaner. And I'm gonna take you a step-by-step process on how to do that as well. And Vicente shot a video for the Volvo already as well too, for all the Volvo guys out there trying to see how he has his set up. But this is mostly for my 200 guys here, because this is what I've been getting asked a lot about. on how to get a cheaper air intake in here. So this one is going to help you guys out a lot. So let me go ahead and get these unscrewed and get right back with you guys, okay? All right, guys, so let me get down to your level here. And we are over here with our air intake now. I removed it. So you're going to take your Power Clean K&N air filter cleaner here, and you're going to just spray it all over your filter. And by that, I mean you want to get it in there really, really good. I'm going to spray the top too just because it's just dirty. Get it in there and just spin it around. And what you're doing here is you're just letting this stuff get on and loosen all the dirt up. I have a ton of dirt on my one side because obviously that's the exposed side, and from the top, you know, sometimes dust can fly up and it really gets up in there. So you just want to get it on there a lot. But with getting it on there a lot, you do not want to allow it to dry. So I'm obviously outside. It's a really nice day, about 75 degrees. So not too hot, not too crazy, but I'm getting it on there right now. And K&N recommends about 10 minutes. So we're going to sit here and let this dry for about 10 minutes. Sit on there, not dry, but sit on there, soak in, get real good. And I'm going to get back with you guys on how to get this stuff off and what's the next step. All right, guys, so it has been about 10 minutes now, and we are in the backyard. I'm going to go ahead and use my hose here. You just want to make sure that you're using not freezing cold water and not hot water. Just to mess with the filter, but this is obviously lukewarm water. And I'm just gonna spray the water all around here and get all the debris and as much as I can off. And they say if yours is extremely dirty, you may have to do this twice. Mine's not in that extremely dirty stage. So I'm gonna do it one time here, get all this debris off, and then I will tell you guys the next step. Okay, so now that we got it all washed off and cleaned and it's nice and there's no longer any debris in there, you can see that all the red is kind of gone away. There might be a little hint of it here and there, but it's all pretty much gone. That's good. That means you really got in there and got all the old oil out and all the dirt and stuff like that. So we're gonna allow this to sit and dry for a little bit of time here because you don't wanna have any excess water in there when you spray it on your oil. I'd say give it about 15 to 20 minutes, 30 if you did it twice, to really let it all dry out. And then once it dries out, we're gonna come back in and we're gonna actually spray some oil on it, and I'll explain a little more when we get to that step. All right, guys, so now we're back. I was out for about 30 minutes, 35 minutes or so, and it's now completely dry to the touch. No water left in it, and doing everything just the way it should, you know. Dried naturally in the sun, it's looking like it should, and we're in good shape. So next step is we got our air filter oil, and we are gonna be spraying that. And this is the aerosol can, not the actual squeeze tube. I know some people may have that, but it's the same concept. We got our aerosol can here, and we're gonna go up and down each line and really coat it with oil. And unlike spray painting here, we don't want to be 6 inches or more. We want to be right around 3 inches. We really want to get this thing coated up with oil. So I'll show you here. We're just going to coat this thing, and we want to get it as red as possible. And then we're going to let the oil dry for pretty much the same amount of time as we did the water. You really want to let it dry before you let it go back in your engine bay and drip or just not sit well. So let's get this sprayed on, and I'll show you how it looks. All right, guys, so now I have it all sprayed on there. Let you get a better look there. It is nice and red. There's some parts in the camera, it kind of looks like it's not all the way red, but for the most part, it's extremely red, and it's looking like it should. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna allow this to sit on for about 30 minutes or so. You can just leave it out in the sun. I'll probably push mine a little further into the light there. let it dry up. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna really inspect it. If there's any parts that aren't truly red or they got a little bit of fade to them, you're gonna wanna hit it back with the oil. You just wanna touch up all parts and get this thing extremely red. And once you do that, you're gonna wanna allow it to dry for about another 35 minutes or so. This is a lengthy process. This isn't like a 30-minute thing, but that's okay. You know, you wanna get this done properly. So I'll be back with you guys as soon as this is all dried up, and we'll check for touch-ups that are needed and go from there, guys. All right, guys, so it's been about another 30 minutes or so, and I'm kind of inspecting the area, and it's looking pretty good. I'm gonna do one more layer on, real light. Just kind of hit it one more time because it's been about a year or so since I've actually done this. I've been slacking, but we're gonna go ahead and hit another layer on it, and then I'm gonna get back with you guys in probably an hour or so. As you can see, it's still pretty juicy, and that's fine. There's no problems with that. Like I said, though, this is not a quick process. You're gonna want to allow this to dry. So I probably won't be installing this for about an hour or two at least, but it's all for the fun of it, and cannot wait to show you guys the install process of it. So be back with you guys shortly. All right, guys, so here we are now. We are outside, and it has been about an hour and a half, and it's all dried up. It's a little greasy still around the edges, and if you actually touch it, but for the most part, I can slide my finger on it and maybe get a little bit on me. And I wanted to get this in before it became complete nighttime outside. So now we're actually on the install portion of it. And say you already got your box out, and here you are, you got your brand new K&N. This is where we're going to start the install process of this and show you guys what needs to be done. So first things first, you're going to install your adapter piece here, your spacer, whatever you want to call it, and you're just going to use the 4-inch clamp that came with the air intake originally, and just clamp it in there, and then you have it snug and tight. So next step is to put on your K&N, and so let's pick it up. It's a little greasy, don't want to get it all over my hands. And then you're just going to fit that on, and it's actually going to seat over that. I'm the only guy here right now, so I can only do this with my one hand, but I'll show you. We're just gonna put this over here, and then we're obviously gonna put our 4-inch clamp on, and we'll clamp this down, and I'll show you what that looks like right after this. Well, there it is, guys, just like that. I have it on now, clamped on with my 4-inch clamp there, snug, tight, and it's sitting just where I want it to sit. Got the air hole down there, and as well as a little gap right in there. You can't really see it, but there's a little gap there too. So I got my airflow right here, and like I said, you know, you really do want to get some sort of divider there. I'm not going to sit here and say my setup's perfect, but for about $55, you have removed your old air intake and put in your brand new K&N air intake. Don't mind my extremely dirty engine at the moment, but like I said, I wanted to show you guys how to clean and properly install a new cone air intake, K&N edition, inside your Chrysler 200 2015, and again, that's the 2.4 right there. And just to recap, like I said, you just need your spacer there, your air intake, and you can use the stock intake tube. No work had to be done to change that. And there it is. I mean, quick, simple, and cheap, and a big difference. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm gonna give you guys a couple revs here at the end just to show you what it sounds like if you may have never heard the air intake in it before. But like, comment, subscribe, guys. Let me know what you thought of the video, and message me on Instagram or comment on the video if you have any questions about this process or any other questions in general. I would love to answer and help you guys. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for checking us out. Hope to see you guys in the next video. Until then, guys, peace.